Yo, fresh out of the box, back on the set. It's your guy Benny Boone once again. Hood Money Productions is at your door. We're gonna welcome you in. It's the last one of the year. You know what I'm saying? It was an interesting year. 25, 26 is in the books. There was some interesting parlays last week. I mean, I thought that something was gonna go down, and then, everything didn't go down the way it was supposed to before the season. For the season, we had a pretty decent season. You know what I'm saying? It was a pretty decent season out there. I mean, everybody saw what happened. My predictions was pretty on. You know what I'm saying? I said it was supposed to be AFC East versus NFC West. It was NFC West. It wasn't AFC East. We're gonna get into that on the recap board. You know what I'm saying? But we also gonna get into the stats for this year. Last year I did it in the regular season, and that made it thing kick way too slow. You know what I'm saying? The time on that thing took so long. You know what I'm saying? We try to keep it in 20, 25 minutes so you get it and get on your way. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we're doing it at the end of the year this time. Making them adjustments. Made a lot of adjustments this year. We had some new parlays on the board. We had some new action out there. We did pretty good. Considering that those teams was playing over the weekend. None of them four teams was in the championship game last year, and that was the first time that happened in so long. It's been a while. You know what I'm saying? So. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. We got a lot of new faces. We got some people that probably shouldn't have been there, and we got Savvy Vets still in the mix. For season totals, our season totals was as follows. You know what I'm saying? Last year was a lot more successful. You know what I'm saying? But the good news is we did beat our rival broadcasters. You know what I'm saying? Both me and my man from the streets went over 57%. You know what I'm saying? Went over 57%. And that's what counts. You know what I'm saying? Last year we was way over 57%, but as long as we keep over, because they got some good guys out there. They got some future, some old players, some former players, guys who used to get it done, used to win rings. So yeah, I was pretty happy about that. We still kept that going. I had 256 parlays. I got 155 of them. Last year was definitely better, but that was 60 and a half. Winning percentage on the parlays. My man from the streets, he had 82 over unders. He was 48% out of that 82, and that put him at 58.75%, which is it is a shade over 50%, but it is over 57. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? This was a interesting week. We had a win streak. We had one winning streak. Last year we had a couple. We had one this year, and we also had our first losing streak. You know what I'm saying? We had our first offers this year. We had 0 for 2 on a couple parlay. You know what I'm saying? And we had none last year. So over a 2 year span, that's actually not bad. But I mean, just for 1 year, it's pretty bad. I mean, our 2 year winners parlay percentage is 67.5%. So that's actually not bad. Our wins went as followed. Weeks we got picked up one winner on the parlay was 8. When we got 2 wins on the parlay was 4, which was way up from last year. At least we managed to crack into that 2, because 2 was even 1 or 3 last year. Them 2 was hard to get, and of course, like I said, we had one winning streak of 3. You know what I'm saying? So and of course we're gonna work on that. We also had, like I said, a losing streak is any streak is 3 or more, and you know a losing streak of more than 3, and we avoided that, and we're gonna avoid that again, because like I said, we won last week. So on the next year in adjustments, you know what I'm saying, next year in adjustments, our best weeks was week 7 and 11. You know what I'm saying? Week 7 and 11 we did the best. We in terms of wins, it was week 11. That's where we picked up that 3 wins, and in terms of overall picks, it was week 7 where we all came a couple picks to clearing that board completely. But yeah, the best stretch was weeks 10 through 12. Weeks 10 through 12, we accumulated big 5 W's out there. You know what I'm saying? My man from the streets had 3 over under winners. I had 1 over under winner. You know what I'm saying? And I also had 3 prop wins. So we actually got that 10 all on parlays, which we need to get those up to 5 to 10 on the props and over unders, and then double that parlay, and that's 40, like right there. You know what I'm saying? So it's still right there. It's still within reach. Our worst stretch was weeks 4 through 6, with our worst week being week 5, where we only got 4 right picks overall, but we still had 1 on each parlay. I mean, we still managed to have at least 1, but still, that was by far the worst of the year. Our over-under percentage was 48% compared to my man from the streets. That's not, that's a big difference. 48 and 58 is a big difference. So like I said, like that's why I keep saying, just take my man from the streets. Mine's like for fun, for when you want to just look at something, or maybe want to get at your focus sometime. Take them joints. But definitely look at my man from the streets. My man from the streets had wins in the first week. He opened us up with a W, and then had consecutive wins in week 11 and 12. And during that worst week stretch, it was that was one of the 0-4 parlays, and that was week 4 through 6. That wasn't that great, but we got 5 W's. We got 5 W's through that weeks 10 through 12, and nothing wrong with that. We kind of went cold. We went cold the last 9 games. We didn't really accumulate that many wins in the last 9 games, but we did get more playoff wins, including our new college football wins. We got wins on that too. I lost parlays, and this is, like I said, just how easy it is to get to 40. Just like last year, like I told you, my losses by parlays was by 1 game was 31. We had 31 parlays lose by 1 game. You know what I'm saying? So that's crushing, and that's what I'm saying. It's not that hard to get it. I mean, we was close. You know what I'm saying? The thing that crushed us most this year, and especially with the percentages and the wins, was that prime time. Prime time was not good for us this year. At a point, we stopped betting on prime time altogether, and came back, and we thought, people probably, be doing a little better out there, be going for the playoff, but it still didn't work out. I mean, prime time matchups devastated our totals this year. We lost parlays by 2. We had 18 that lost by 2 games. We had 15 that lost by 3 games, and then we had a combined 4 that lost by 4 more. Part of 5. Those 5 teams didn't work out well for us this year like they did last year. And like I said, we had 2 offers in the parlays. For our over-unders, we had 12. We had 12 over-unders that almost won by 1. We had 11 that almost won by 2. We had 13, but it wasn't great. That had three losses on it, and then 4 more was also 4 with 2 offers on that as well. So that wasn't that great. It wasn't that great for wasn't that great as far as that was concerned, but as far as the total stats were what they were. You know what I'm saying? The total stats were pretty decent. You know what I'm saying? We had some good wins. You know what I'm saying? Had some good streaks out there. We made it happen this year for y'all. I mean, we ended up getting y'all some W's, and we're gonna try to get you a couple more. We're gonna try to get you a few more. We're gonna move on. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get to this recap board here. As you can see, like last year, we have the dreaded question mark for the game. Like I said, the Bills game was questionable at best. Bills should have won that game. Definitely should have won that game. I don't know how the Bills. I don't know what the calls are. Sometimes I just don't know what the calls are. I don't know what the refs are doing. I mean, I know what the rules are. And the refs didn't play with the rules. They didn't play with the rules. It was a bad game. It was a bad call. It was a good game, but it was a bad end to a good game. And the refs just they didn't have it in them. They didn't have it in them to get it done out there. They didn't make the right calls. But Buffalo also had a chance. They had a few chances out there, but in the end, everybody saw it. It was all on social media. The guy was down. He had a possession of the ball. The play should be over. I mean, that's what they teach you. They teach the receiver. He has possession, and the defender has the ball, and they're struggling for the ball. Go down, because the tie always goes to the receiver. I don't know what they're gonna do next year. They're gonna make a rule where you can rip the ball away after the player's down. Didn't make no sense. There's no logical explanation, and that's why the question mark is there. And I didn't count that. I didn't count that toward my parlays at all, because just like last year, it was too many discrepancies, and I think the rest was in the end was working. But also Buffalo did have several chances. They could have in the 4th quarter. They was driving down by 3. Josh Allen missed Dalton Kincaid over the middle. He could have scored right there. And also in overtime, after they had stopped Denver, McCole Hardman dropped a pass with not a defender within 10 yards of him, and he had it in his hands, and he just didn't secure it to the ground. So, and then that coupled with the questionable pass interference calls, and all of them was questionable, maybe except for the last one. But by the last one, the gambling gods had already worked their way in and made sure Denver would not be full strength this week, because they weren't supposed to be here, because they were supposed to lose that game. But as it was, they did win the game. The Bills
kind of messed that parlay up. Really, the parlay we had the best chance at was the Bears to cover that spread against the Rams at home. They couldn't get it done. The Niners also went down. Indiana and the Texans. Indiana won, but they did not cover the spread. The Texans, they didn't cover the spread, and the Niners was the other one that couldn't get it done last week. Prop bets weren't so great. Pretty decent for the year, weren't so great. I got an 0 for right there, and then 2 for 4 right there. My man from the streets and me went head to head last week like we did the week before, and he went all unders, and it turned out to be an all over week, mostly over week. As you see, I had a couple overs, and really if I'd have switched this over and that under, I'd have got them all. But as you see, I finished 3 for 5. He was 1 for 5 to finish the season. The man from the streets won it, as y'all probably knew. 6 ties right there. I had 6 wins, and he had 8 wins. So I made it close on the back end. You know what I'm saying? I put it together on the back end. Came stronger than I did in the first half. At least gave it a chance out there. But once again, my man from the streets put it together for us. We appreciate that once again. And on the championship weekend. So certain teams they took care of business. Certain teams, like I said, it was controversial. It was very controversial. But as we get to the big board, as you can see, let's zoom it out. For everybody. Now you can take it in. It is. As you can see, it's pretty much like last season. I just want to say that, I'm going to start doing that week 1, putting these week 1 predictions, but as you probably can tell from the hat I wore, I figured Cincinnati was going to go pretty far. Buffalo as well. I figured Buffalo, this would be the year they would win the bowl. They'd win it all on this, especially when the playoffs start. I thought this was Josh Allen's year. I still think it should have been. I just think the refs worked them at the end, and everybody saw it, and it was a terrible call. And I didn't like the way that game ended, and so, but still, I had them going up against the Chiefs. The Chiefs didn't even make the playoffs this year, and I had Buffalo coming out of there beating Cincinnati and the Chiefs. And the Eagles on the other side, I had the Eagles and the Rams getting it done. I had the Eagles and the Rams going at it. The Eagles had a decent season. They got rid of most of a lot of their good players from last year, though. They went on their separate ways, and that's probably what affected them, much like how it affected the Commanders. The Rams, if Matthew Stafford back held up, they had some good acquisitions, good pieces. Sean McVay, this is going to be if he makes the Super Bowl, this will be his 3rd one in 7 years, and I think he's going to do just that. He has the weapons, and even though Seattle has a decent run game now, not good because Charbonnet got injured. Now they're down to 1. I don't think they had a quarterback play, even though they had a defense to get it done. And I had the Niners. With the schedule they had. I had them getting all the way. Brock Purdy and them getting back to another Super Bowl, possibly winning it. So I had Buffalo and the Niners going at it with Buffalo taking care of business. That is not what happened, as we all know, with the way the season went. What happened was the Patriots won and the Broncos. They let the Broncos make it, so they'll be playing. The Rams won that game against the Niners, and Seattle took care of business. Seattle beat the Niners, and the Rams took care of business against the Bears. And what the fans want now, as you know, even though these teams, none of them made it this far last year, between the 4 of them, there's 12. There's 12 Super Bowl wins. That's not including appearances. 12 Super Bowl wins. One with the least is the Seahawks. I only have 1 with the great Russell Wilson, probably the best quarterback in Seahawks history. Should have 2, but he decided not to give to Marshawn in the end. He wanted to give him that Russell Mahomes magic. Didn't work out. Only had the Tom Brady's legacy. The Rams and the Seahawks, that's going to be a good matchup. It's going to be a good match. I don't think the Broncos match is going to be so good. I think the Patriots are going to continue to do what they do and cover spread. You know what I'm saying? Patriots are the Indiana of the NFL this year, so we're going to see how that worked out. Seattle, everybody wants Seattle to get it. And everybody wants the Patriots on the AFC side to take care of business and play them. And it looks like they have Seattle on top. That's what everybody's looking like. Well, this is what I think will happen. I think the Patriots, of course, will win. And I think the Rams will win. I like them on the plus money. They've been pretty decent on plus money the last couple of years. I say go with the plus money on this one. Take the Rams to either cover straight money line or to win by 2.5 points. And as we get into the parlay segment, Yeah, yeah. Let's get into the parlay segment first. But my man, let's go with my man from the streets. My man from the streets threw a parlay at us. Yeah, we're gonna mix it up this week with the over and a parlay because you at least two solid bets out of there. My man from the streets also likes the Patriots to win that game and the Rams to win that game, and he likes the unders. You know what I'm saying? He likes he's been under heavy this year. Did work out for him a couple of times, so we'll see. And he says if the spread is 50 plus, take the under. If the spread is 50 plus, take the under. So that's what you should do. If the spread is less than 50, then you might want to take that over. And, if it's 50 and a half, you know what I'm saying? Well, if it's 50 and a half, take the under. That's what he said. So as for my parlays, the first parlay, I have the Patriots on the spread. I have the Rams on the money line. And I have the over in both games. In both games, I have the overs. And parlay 2, I have the Patriots. I switched it up and put them on the money line. I still have the Rams on the money line. And I have, I went with the unders. I also went with the unders, kind of mix it up. I know they're going to clash at some point, but at least you have a chance at getting one, maybe two extra wins for the season. And maybe even 3 if the prop bets work out. Prop bets as such, I got Puka Nacua, Hunter Henry, Kyle Williams, and Jackson Smith-Njigba. I have Kenneth Walker out there. He should at least score 1. Devontae Adams will finally score after coming back from injury. I got R.J. Harvey and Stephon Diggs. I'm going to take a chance on Stephon Diggs to go ahead and get that thing done. So that's what it's going to look like. That's what it's going to be. That's all the picks. You know what I'm saying? That's all the time we got for this year. I'd like to thank everybody to watch, everybody to like, comment and subscribe. I'd like to thank everybody that chipped in on the Hood Money production. You know what I'm saying? My man from the streets. You know what I'm saying? My man from around the block. You know what I'm saying? Homes from around the corner. You know what I'm saying? And, California Slim, you know what I'm saying, came through for us, and Spiff Piffington added to the visuals. We like to thank, everybody that, put it in for Hood Money, because once again, it was successful. It's all about the shiny W's here, you know what I'm saying? We try and get you that cash, you know what I'm saying, to put in your stage, you know what I'm saying? We try and put it in to win every week, you know what I'm saying? Every week is another opportunity. I've been hearing rumors it's going to be a Hood Money college basketball edition, you know what I'm saying? You never know. You never know what can happen. Hey, that's all the time I got. It's Benny Boom. It's been a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? You know what my squad is. We'll be back next year because, the season never ends, really. The season never ends. The ones that lose is pissed off to win it, and the ones that win is just loving the bask in it. So, till next time. You know what I'm saying? Put it in. It ain't funny. 1, 2, 3. Let's get this money.